Hello everyone, my name is T. Hunter. For those of you who are tuning in for the first time, welcome to my channel. For those who are returning, welcome back. As you can see, I have a very special guest with me today.
Hey, what's going on with you guys? It's Yaahn Hunter Jr. coming at you from my house with my lovely wife, and honored to be featured yet again, and the little one being featured as well. So if she has her, inserts, just know that she's tapped in the spirit as well.
Yes, as always, she doesn't mean any harm. She just likes to join in the conversation.
Pretty much.
Yeah. Okay, so today I wanted to do a quick video, and my husband, we were talking, and it seemed like we were both on the same wavelength, have the same thoughts as far as this topic here, which is, I guess I will just keep it simple and call it, or pick a position and stay there.
Yeah.
Yeah. The reason why I wanted to talk about that is because I have noticed, in the past, and now that I'm older, things have definitely been shifting my insight around why it is, either myself or other people, we get caught up doing things that we don't necessarily want to do. And sometimes it's simply because of the way that we communicate or don't communicate. Sometimes we don't mean what we say. Other times we don't say what we mean. I know that seems like, didn't I just say the same thing? Not necessarily. So sometimes we say no when we really want to say yes. Sometimes we say yes when we really mean no. Other times we might say yes or no, but not really have a strong conviction with it. So people will continue to come back to us to ask us questions, or maybe ask us favors, ask us to carry out tasks for them because your no or your yes wasn't really firm enough, so they feel that they have to keep following up with you. And that's how we can get trapped into doing things that maybe are not necessarily bad, but they can be time consuming. And as creators, as parents, as spouses, we definitely understand the purpose as well as the significance of time. And being drained, no bueno.
Not at all. Yeah, she pretty much nailed it on the head. The only thing I'm gonna add is if your no's are not, really no's, and your yeses are not really yeses, it can really frustrate people, especially from a relationship standpoint or a professional standpoint. And I guess my little 2 cents would be is to, get used to saying no some more. Saying no is not a bad thing. Coming up in church and everything, which I always thank God for, thankful for my roots and everything, but sometimes we can get locked into just saying yes mindlessly and just stamp this is in the name of God, and it's really crippling you, it's really hurting you, and it's also causing some form of a division in a way. So letting your no's be really no's, and there's a way to be respectful in your no. And sometimes we don't have to always give the ins and outs of why of the no. If it's an emergency, okay, but it's important to get used to saying no so you can get used to being available for the right things and the things that God really wants you to do. If you're booked up by saying yes to a whole bunch of stuff, God is like, well, you didn't include me in that sometimes, and you're too busy for me. And so I'll just end my little 2 seconds with a quote from one of my lessons plans. Actually, it's actually from not even a lesson plan, surprisingly. I'm so used to it being from a lesson plan, but it's not. This is actually from YouTube, from a professional content creator that's one of the assistants at, I believe it's Think Media. And one of the assistants said something that changed my life, and she said to say no to the good things so you can say yes to the great things. So I thought that was really powerful. That really spoke to me, just as transparent as reading the word. So
Sure.
Just being led by God and your yeses and your nos, and it's gonna definitely help people respect you more, or it may cause some friction. Maybe they're not used to you saying no, but it's a healthy no. So that's all I have. Did we read the scripture already?
No.
Well, let's hit on with a scripture. Y'all ain't talking Bible. Yes, we are.
Okay. So, I was looking for the scripture that says, let your yes be yes and your no be no. And I'm going to read it in
This is Matthew
5
and 37.
Matthew 5 and 37.
Mm-hmm.
From the English Standard Version says, let what you say be simply yes or no. Anything more than this comes from evil. Now, when I read the last part, comes from evil, I was thinking, well, how can adding on to a yes or a no be evil? I guess my interpretation of that is kind of, when you start adding on explanations, you can start opening up these different trapdoors and these wormholes that you never intended to go down yourself or take anybody else down with you. In my previous job, we would have practice audits, and we would have practice interviews with, mock auditors. And the advice that our supervisors would give was only answer the questions that they ask of you. If you answer and give more detail than the question that was provided, they might say, oh, really? Well, show me where this is, or show me how to find that based on what you said. So when you say a simple yes or you say a simple no, it might be difficult, as Yaahn was saying, for people to accept that and understand that you're just simply saying no and keeping it at that, or simply saying yes and keeping it at that. But it also stops you from walking into pitfalls of, well, you said you couldn't do this because of XYZ. Now you've said too much.
Absolutely. And my takeaway from the scripture pertaining to the evil part would be confusion. If you start getting too deep into it, things get weird and people get confused, and we already know that God isn't the author of confusion.
Sure.
And the evil one is all about confusion and division. So the more that you add on, it's almost like you're being deceptive in a way, because now you have someone on the string and you're not really saying yes or no. So when the event or whatever you agree to comes up and you back out, it's like, well, bruh, like, I thought you were down. It's like, well, I didn't say I was or I wasn't. And that's deception, and that's from the evil one. So that's my interpretation of the evil section of it. And also, let your yeses be yeses and your nos be nos. I've learned the hard way. Don't do it.
So just say yes, or even better, just say no.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining me today.
Of course. Of course.
And just takeaways that I have from this would be, no is a complete sentence, and no is a form of self-care. Take care of yourself, because if you're not good to yourself, you can't really be good to anyone else.
Yeah.
And we need to be good if we're going to do God's work, if we're going to be great friends, parents, spouses, employees, employers. Come on, entrepreneurs, we got to be good to ourselves so that we can be good for others.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's all we have for today. So if you like this content, feel free to like this video, leave your feedback in the comments, subscribe to my channel, and share this video with someone.
Right on. Happy to be a part once again. And as I always say, we ain't nowhere near done.